Taiwan Tzu Chi partners with Shuxing borough to establish a community senior activity center to look after the elderly. We take a look back at Tzu Chi's medical clinics in Vietnam and see how it has helped local residents. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Marilee Shoda. Thank you for joining us. The aid distribution on the 16th in Dickinson, Texas has set a record for the Tzu Chi in the United States. As in the 20-some years of service, they have not helped this many recipients nor mobilized this many volunteers in one day. Among the volunteers is a Vietnamese Dharma master who was visiting the U.S. to continue his cultivation, but was met with Hurricane Harvey. In the aftermath of the disaster, he not only held 3 blessing ceremonies, but also joined Tzu Chi's aid relief efforts.
Okay, this way, please.
During Tzu Chi's second distribution at Dickinson, the Kingstons lead a group of volunteers to register all the recipients as they enter the relief event. After Hurricane Harvey struck, they have been looking for a way to help the impacted, and today they were finally able to give.
And I'm so impressed with Tzu Chi. The organization is such an incredible professional organization. And it's just offered, it goes directly to the recipient. That's what I like.
Another who is looking to help the impacted is this Dharma master from Vietnam, who was caught in the middle of the disaster upon his second day in Houston. After 3 days of blessing ceremonies, he also joined in Tzu Chi's aid event today.
Tzu Chi volunteers' good deeds and great love is very much in line with my own philosophy. This is why I'm here helping.
Volunteers separate and do different tasks. Some explain how to use the cash card, while others teach how to make the instant rice. The most is, however, just lending a shoulder for the recipients to lean on.
Many of the friends have bottled up emotions. They hope someone could give them a shoulder to lean on, or someone to listen to them and thoughtfully look after them. This assistance gives them a safe harbor during this uncertain time.
I hope more people will contact you and become a part of what you're doing, because it's God's message. You're spreading love and hope.
On the other end of the event, the medical outreach is there for all those in need.
My whole house got flooded out. Everything in my home was damaged. With the clinic that I just went to, they check your blood pressure, they check your sugar, they even pull your teeth if you need your teeth pulled.
We want to provide a hand to help people.
They treat you very kindly as a person, and we didn't have to pay. They're very generous, which is great for everyone.
After Hurricane Harvey struck, police officers in Houston, Texas have rescued more than 6,000 lives. While working nonstop to protect the citizens, many of the police officers have not been able to take care of their own home damages. To help these first responders, Tzu Chi volunteers visited the Houston police chief to schedule an aid distribution for impacted police officers.
When Hurricane Harvey struck, police officers in Houston saved more than 6,000 lives.
The fact that we had over 500 of our employees themselves that were impacted, none of them went home. They stayed here for 6 days, 24 hours a day.
Global Tzu Chi Volunteers Executive Director Stephen Huang visits the police chief of Houston to express the wish to hold distributions for police officers, so the first responders can work without worries.
So I think that out of this tragedy, the beauty of it was, look at how we've all come together. And so I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
The first distribution is scheduled to be held on September 19th, thanks to the help of this person.
When we learned about how Tzu Chi has been helping the affected residents in Texas, we are deeply touched.
A reporter from Houston's affiliate station of ABC has also come to interview Stephen Huang regarding this mission.
The way we carried out our disaster relief mission has earned their recognition.
Huang also seizes the occasion to introduce Tzu Chi's principles and Bamboo Coin Bank era.
She is also deeply touched and asked us to notify her when we hold our next distribution, as she wants to report on the event.
Having covered the disaster news, this reporter has a lot of thoughts.
We're all concerned of our daily habits and how they can impact things on a larger scale.
Learning from this large disaster, the reporter has also taken an eco-friendly blanket as well as coin bank, ready to extend a special affinity with Tzu Chi.
Moving our focus to Taiwan, as the country's aging population increases, Tzu Chi Foundation has been working with different boroughs to set up senior care centers. On September 16th, Tzu Chi's Senior Care Center in Shuxing Borough of New Taipei City was established. At the occasion, the borough had remarked that the new center will allow more than 300 community seniors to enjoy each other's company.
With a round of applause, Tzu Chi Senior Care Center in Shuxing Borough is formally established.
We are working with Tzu Chi and we will come once a month. By next year, we might even come twice a month so we can get even closer to everyone.
The wish of the borough head coincides with Tzu Chi volunteers' goal. They hope to care for the community seniors both physically and spiritually.
One thing we need to do while we are here is to make sure we live to 100 or 120 years old and are still agile with clear minds.
The volunteers organize a variety of activities as well as provide vegetarian lunches to broaden the senior social circles.
We must interact with other people. Coming here, we can use our brains and learn to be more agile, which is good in our daily living.
When the seniors are willing to come out, it's important to provide them with activity space and some friends to talk with. Then they will feel good as they can learn more.
In the future, the place will be the home for other community seniors, and they can accompany each other in good spirit and health.
Tzu Chi's relationship with Sri Lanka began when the foundation traveled there to aid the recovery efforts of the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami. After seeing a need to help locals with their health care, annual medical outreaches began. Recently, a large-scale free clinic was held near Colombo. Let's take a look at how the team dealt with unexpected medical ailments. At the free clinic venue, something unexpected happened. This old man's head is bleeding and is near fainting. Tzu Chi volunteers hurry to send him to the surgical table.
Did he pass out?
He fainted. 54-year-old Ramachandra fell outside the free clinic venue and started bleeding in 2 places. The surgeon immediately sutured him up.
His reaction wasn't normal, so we felt he should be checked out by other doctors.
This morning, here.
But this side is a bit bigger than this side. This is a bit
After an internal medicine doctor looked him over, they discovered Ramachandra was having difficulty concentrating and his blood pressure was low.
The pupils in his eyes were not even. We suspect he has a brain injury.
The medical team could not just let him off on his own, thus they decided to send him to a larger hospital for a more detailed checkup. For those who can't make it to the free clinic, these team of doctors also make house calls. They visit Ahmadin's mother-in-law who suffers from a stroke.
Her stroke has damaged her central nervous system, so I'm stimulating the part of her brain where it controls her central nervous system. This way, the right side of her body can eventually recover.
So a guy doing like this. Then I asked, what are you doing here? Then he said, we are having a campaign, medical campaign here. Then only I thought to consult my mother.
Unable to believe a doctor would come to their house to see her mother, Ahmadin's wife is very grateful to Tzu Chi.
Thanks very much for being here today, attending to my mom.
We begin the second portion of our program with a series of reports on Asia. In 2008, Vietnam passed the National Health Insurance Law. However, although it is a national plan, some of the conditions and benefits are not ideal. especially when compared to Taiwan's health insurance program. Basically, the Vietnamese government divides society into groups such as laborers, retirees, elderly, young children, students, and the poor. There is only compulsory insurance for laborers, meaning that 30% of Vietnamese people are not insured.
Some believe they are quite fortunate to see Taiwanese doctors in Vietnam who can speak Mandarin.
会选择去哪里看医生？
他是找台湾医生。
你有去过他这里的诊所看病？
没有，我们是自己会带一些感冒药过来。每一个人都是这样，不是有。
Those working in Vietnam may be afraid of seeing a doctor. At the moment, some 100,000 Taiwanese are working in Vietnam, with many complaining about the closed nature of the medical industry. At the moment, some 5 clinics are now operated by Taiwanese.
In February, I came and took a look and felt that this area really lagged behind in medical care. I thought it would be really hard to open a clinic, just like Master Zheng Yan must have experienced opening a clinic in Hualien at the time.
5 years ago, Mr. Huang, at the invitation of China Steel, came to Vietnam with a few friends to open a clinic in this industrial area. He was the first Taiwanese to receive medical license to operate. He's the most important link to more than 1,000 Taiwanese businessmen and staff working in Vietnam.
He came last week and told me about his pain. He has kidney stones, but he is very busy, so he has no time to go home to Taiwan.
However, this clinic can only provide limited treatment. Those who are sick generally need to buy a ticket to go back to Taiwan. Many overseas Taiwan staff know this, and in addition to the medical insurance they have in Taiwan, they also are aware of the poor level of Vietnam's medical quality and care. This is the largest public hospital in Ho Chi Minh City. It has an overcrowded waiting room with many sick people in the hallway, corridors, and even the stairwell. It is a very disheartening scene. The hospital wards are even worse.
This is the best hospital in southern Vietnam based on medical technology, so many people want to come here, and many people have been accustomed to coming here.
Overseas Taiwanese heard rumors that one hospital bed may actually sleep 3 people, with the seriously ill sleeping on top and those less sick sleeping below. According to data, Vietnam has just 2.1 hospital beds for every 1,000 people, which is quite limited. Vietnam's major hospitals have been impacted by the implementation of a National Healthcare System Act in 2008, leading to a compulsory health insurance system. All workers are required to be part of the system, and the poor and children under the age of 6 qualify for full subsidies. This means that up till now, coverage is around 82%. Medical institutions are divided into 4 classes, with citizens who bought health care required to visit designated hospitals. Going to private hospitals or clinics is not covered. Those in remote areas frequently see small illnesses become a major problem.
Private doctors are more convenient. I have medical insurance, and if the disease is more serious, then I use medical insurance and save on medical costs.
The disparity between rich and poor is quite evident, as some Vietnamese cannot afford to pay for insurance, and these medical resources are still inadequate. For Taiwanese who are better off, they can go to foreign-invested hospitals, though a language barrier exists, along with higher costs and other problems that could cause some complications.
Going to these foreign invested hospitals can be very expensive. How much does it cost? Spending one day in such a hospital could cost at least $300.
To improve Vietnam's medical standards in recent years, the government has encouraged foreign investment in the medical market, which is something that Taiwanese have long awaited. The brand new white building is very eye-catching. It's the University Medical Singmark Hospital, which is the first hospital invested by a Taiwan company. was completed in May this year and opened in July. A tour of the facility sees a big new reception hall, new beds, and medical equipment. Local Vietnamese medical staff are quite impressed.
The equipment here is very advanced, and much of it is automated.
这手术灯是台湾的，手术台、手术灯都是台湾来的。对，有没有请张机的人来帮你们？是他们列出的规格吗？对，他们有帮我们看过，所以一切符合台湾标准。对。
In cooperation with Zhanghua's Christian Hospital in Taiwan, this new facility can accommodate a total of 1,600 beds. It is very rare for a foreign-invested hospital in Vietnam to operate on such a large scale. But this hospital is invested by the Shuxing Group, who has been in Vietnam for more than a decade manufacturing furniture. It's the first time it became involved in the medical industry, with a total investment amount of around $300 million.
We are hoping to invest some of the money that we have made from the manufacturing sector here and invest it here. I believe that this will help Taiwan as well as Taiwan's hospitals and the people of Taiwan. It will also be good for Vietnam. This piece of land and this building are built on the space that used to store shipping containers, which the government gave us to use.
Chow stressed that this investment case was green-lighted by the Vietnamese government, who provided vital local support. It gave them essential land concessions and also a 13-year duty-free operations. Chow is quite grateful for this support and looks forward to the introduction of more high-level medical technology and services in the country to benefit all of the Vietnamese people. Also, this sort of investment also better serves Taiwanese businessmen.
We hope that Taiwanese businessmen, our own overseas compatriots, can have the most reasonable price for medical services. We don't want to specially earn money by charging them for every little service. This is not our intention.
The most special thing here is the president of this company, as this hospital is really built on a grand scale and has top quality medical devices. Furthermore, the prices charged for medical service are very much like that of a public hospital.
With the economic growth of the Vietnam economy, along with the aging population, there will be increased demand for medical services. Vietnam in the past strictly controlled its medical industry, though it now has relaxed this policy, becoming more and more open. According to statistics, the amount of money that Vietnamese people spend every year on medical treatment overseas is around $1 billion.
Vietnam's medical network has improved greatly in more recent years, but speaking of how it was in the past, many villagers in remote regions or poor villagers might never see doctors in their entire lives. Under these difficult conditions, Tzu Chi entered the slums to help. During the past 19 years, seeing a change in the patient's condition is the best reward for these medical volunteers. One city after another, Tzu Chi volunteers are taking their free clinic to remote regions. Despite the distance and difficulties, no one is tired.
Their impression of Taiwanese people is that they are here to marry their girls, and other negative impressions. But today a few of them came to me and told me they have never seen people show them this much love and care before.
Many of the patients suffer from severe ailments.
At this hospital, medicine and doctors are very scarce. There's not enough for everyone.
Lacking in medical resources, this free clinic had to overcome much obstacles.
Without proper medicine, we consider using food as a treatment to support their health.
With time, Tzu Chi volunteers have yielded results. Since 1998, Tzu Chi's free clinics has served over 50,000 patients, where volunteers from Taiwan, Singapore, and Malaysia join hands to lend support. There are also many Vietnamese patients who have traveled to Taiwan to receive treatment.
可以走路了，走得很远，感恩你们。
Tears of relief are the best reward for Tzu Chi volunteers. The Buddhist Minduk Charitable Foundation, which helped Tzu Chi previously in medical outreaches, have also begun hosting their own free clinics events twice a year since 2003, helping remote villagers with their medical needs. Tzu Chi volunteers in Zhejiang, China promote recycling in a community of Yiwu. They spend one night a week going through snack stalls of a night market to pick up trash as well as recyclables. Their devotion has also inspired many residents to join this effort.
Carrying large garbage bags, volunteers from Zhejiang's Yiwu make use of their time after work going through the snack stalls at the night market to pick up trash.
As for the customers of mobile vendors, we're unable to change their habits at once. Since their stalls are mobile, there is still a lot of trash under their stalls. They have to keep them clean by sweeping.
Besides picking up the trash that was littered on the ground by customers, the volunteers also promote recycling to local residents. Yiwu Tzu Chi volunteers promote recycling in the community. They invite local residents to do recycling in front of the night markets one night a week.
The earth is having a fever now, and it's getting hotter and hotter. Why? That's because we use too many disposable products, such as plastic bottles and cans. So we want to tell everyone that 60% of the garbage can be recycled.
After the volunteers invited local residents to practice recycling, now the streets of the night markets are much cleaner than before. The volunteers also hope that each family can practice recycling at home.
As part of their curriculum, Tzu Chi Preschool in Kedah, Malaysia, rolled out a course to let their students experience the ups and downs of pregnancy. Through a series of activities, the students truly understood how precarious the pregnancy can be and how difficult the journey was for their mothers. We'll leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time.